Hello everyone, this is Adam Fisher. I'm here with Ashley Haddon. We're going to talk about the insurance that you need for your business on Amazon. She is an expert in that area. She's one of the best. But I'll let her talk about that because there's a lot of things I learned here at the Just One Dine Summit about insurance that I had no clue about, and I've been in this community for a while and never heard of them. So I'm gonna let her take it off and talk about two things. First of all, what kind of insurance you need for your Amazon business, and then also what kind of insurance you need for your specific type. So if you're doing arbitrage specifically, what do you need? If you're doing private label, what do you need specifically for that? So let's go ahead and tell us a little bit about you.
Hey guys, so again, Ashlin Haddon, owner of Ashlin Haddon Insurance. If you are a new seller, a lot of people don't know yet that Amazon requires you to have a general liability policy. So they need $1 million policy just to sell on Amazon if you're a pro seller. So if you're just doing just a normal account, you don't have to have it. But if you're paying that $39.99 a month as a pro seller, you need $1 million general liability policy. So kind of break it down a little bit about what a general liability
and let me say that, like, a lot of us don't have that. A lot of new sellers, nobody's talking about this.
Naughty, you should have this policy.
I'm in trouble, guys.
Get on him.
Yeah, okay. No, we're gonna fix that. That's why we're here.
So kind of what this does is really a general liability policy is gonna help protect you if you end up getting sued. So big things with Amazon sellers are IP issues, somebody getting hurt on one of the products that you sell. Those kinds of things is where this policy is gonna kick up and protect you. So if you're doing RA, OA, and wholesale, your policy for the general liability and product liability is going to protect you if, let's say, you have a swoosh on your product and Nike comes back and says, hey, that's my swoosh, now I'm gonna sue you. This policy helps protect you and pay those fees to hire an attorney to get your name dropped from those lawsuits. So really what it does is really just kind of protects your business, what you do as a business, and how you run your business selling online. So, so that's kind of the general liability part of it.
So as any business, you're saying needs $1 million in general liability coverage.
Right, so any pro seller.
Any pro seller, which you guys should all be pro sellers.
Yes, absolutely.
So roughly, I know this is super rough, but roughly how much does that cost a year?
Yeah, so new sellers doing under $250,000 a year with no private label, you're looking at maybe $600 to $800 a year. So it's not bad. Super affordable. I get a lot of people come to me and say, hey, I can't afford $800 a year. I'm a new seller. My budget's tight and things like that. And I was like, well, can you afford to hire an attorney at $500 an hour? You get 2 hours of an attorney and your policy's paid for. So it's definitely an investment that you need to look into before it's too late.
We talked a lot about that. Now let's talk about private label, because there's some specifics to private label for your product. So go into that.
So private label, once you guys do a private label product and you accept that private label product and put your brand name on that private label product, you now become the manufacturer of that product, and you now are solely responsible if that product harms somebody else. So an example that we've gone through in the last 15 months is a watermelon cutter. One of our clients had a watermelon cutter, and they were cutting the watermelon and the handle broke off and cut the tip of the finger of somebody off. So again, you know, this person got
I have
sued.
A friend who started selling watermelon cutters, and then like he stopped a while back.
So you know, you have to be very careful on what you're selling, because you now are responsible for any damages that product does for somebody else, hurt somebody else. And again, private label products cost-wise really depends. If you're selling something, you know, a little bit low risk, you know, you still could be in the $1,500 a year range, up to, you know, thousands of dollars, depending again on what you're selling. You know, if you're selling knives and guns,
if you're selling hoverboards
like
that start on fire,
yes, maybe stay away from the hoverboards.
I don't know if you guys heard that story. There was a hoverboard that burned somebody's house down while it was charging.
And they sued Amazon for $30 million. So hopefully you've got a good chunk of, you know, $30 million sitting in your bank account, and then you wouldn't need an insurance policy.
It's like student loans, you know. So you've got this $1,500 to, you know, whatever dollar policy. Does that include? That's just for the private label stuff, or does that include the general liability also?
Good question. So we typically put one policy together. So you have your general liability and product liability all wrapped up together. So you don't need a specific policy for every private label item. We do one policy and we add your items. So it's also good as you continue to grow. You might start with 1 or 2 private label items, pick up a third, a fourth, and a fifth. It's not like you need a policy every time you get another product. So
Yeah.
we work with you on, you know, getting the right policy from the get-go and growing with you as you move into those types of products.
So what happens when I add a new product? What do I have to do, you know?
Yeah, so we try to make it pretty easy for you. I do want you to know, you know, the risks of that new product before you end up putting a purchase order in. So find a competitor listing. Find a competitor listing and send it to me and say, hey, Ashlyn, I'm thinking about doing this type of product. What do you think? And sometimes you guys get so focused on, you know, hey, this is a big money maker, and don't think about the risk of it. So you go and you put a big purchase order in for, you know, 500 fidget spinners with knives on the end, not thinking, and I come and say, well, it's gonna be $5,000 to insure that product. And you're like, oh, wait, crap, now what have I got myself into? So send that information to me first and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think?
Did you have somebody do fidget spinners with knives?
I did have a fidget spinner with knives.
I've seen them. I saw them on Amazon.
Yep. So we actually got that one insured, but it was
Really?
very, very expensive. So,
I bet.
so ask me first. Let me tell you, you know, I'll tell you, hey, this is gonna be really bad, it's gonna be expensive before you do it. So kind of some stayaways. Anything that goes on the body, in the body, for a baby or for your pet or for exercise or outdoor sporting, those
Really?
are always your high risk. Doesn't mean you can't sell them, it just means it's gonna cost you more to insure them. But as you see on Amazon, those are the things that actually sell quite a bit because there's not as much competition because it's harder to insure them. So if you've got
Really?
great margins, it's definitely something to look into as long as you understand that the insurance is gonna be more expensive.
And so you mentioned something about Amazon possibly requiring people.
Yeah, so we heard a rumor coming in 2018 that it's in your terms of service that you need a policy, but they're not policing it now. So we hear that 2018 they're going to start requiring that certificate of insurance be uploaded into Seller Central.
And that's this $800 a year,
Yeah.
$1 million general
Exactly.
liability. Okay.
Yep. And if you don't have it, we hear that, you know, rumors are that they'll start suspending people who don't have it. So if it's something that you're starting to look into, I would start quickly.
Start
Before you get suspended.
So, do you recommend people have this stuff the day they start their Amazon business, or?
I always want you to have a policy in place before you ship your first item, because your first item could be the one that cuts somebody's finger off. You really never know.
You only need 9 anyways.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 8. They let him cut off 2.
Maybe 8, yeah. Just leave my thumbs.
Right. So I mean, I would want you to have a policy in place. I know that's not realistic. That some of you want to get policy, you know, get your products out there, but the sooner the better. You never know who's going to trip on a box and break their hip, or who's going to cut the tip of their finger off.
So I think what we need to learn from this situation is obviously we need insurance, but two, for those of you who are thinking that Amazon is just, you know, get rich quick, I'm just gonna do this on the side. This is really something you need to make a business. You need to think about, you know, long term and not just try and make a quick buck, because stuff like this, you really need to like understand the business.
Right. And it takes one lawsuit and you're done.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, you could crush your entire company.
There'll be no business.
There'd be no business. Right.
There'll be no business. Which for some of you don't have no business because you haven't started, but that's a whole other topic.
Right. If you want to be an entrepreneur, then act like an entrepreneur. If you had a brick and mortar, there's no way you wouldn't have insurance. So just because you sit behind a computer doesn't make you untouchable. It makes you more at risk, because people don't see the physical storefront and they don't realize that they're not suing Amazon. They think they're just suing this big huge company that has lots of money and don't realize there's a person behind the store, and that's you. So you are very, very more at risk by being behind a computer than you were at a storefront.
Wow, that's one way.
Yeah.
Never thought of that.
Yeah.
Not at
so
all.
if you want to be an entrepreneur, act like one.
So we'll put a link to her website down below.
Sounds great.
And because I will be signing up to get some insurance.
And reach out to me anytime. I'm on Facebook all the time. Send me a personal message and say, hey, you know.
Do you want me to link to your Facebook?
Yeah, let's link to Facebook.
Link the Facebook below.
Okay, feel free to reach out to me anytime.
Okay, thank you guys so much. Now the whole goal of this channel is to get you to your first $5,000 a month on Amazon. This was a little bit of a higher level of discussion, but you guys need to be prepared. If that's something you're interested in though, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.